Something huge is coming for the Chicago Bulls. While the main conversation in the offseason has been about Josh Giddey and also the question mark in Kobe White's future in Chicago, there's another man that could find himself outside of Chicago, and that man is Ayo Dosumnu. Hello, my name is Isaias Jackson Jr. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Bulls Digest. We got to get into all the news and notes of Ayo Dosumnu being in trade talks and where he could potentially land if the Chicago Bulls look to move on from the man. However, 67.5% of you guys are not subscribed. 32.5% of you guys are. We appreciate you guys on both sides of the field and hitting that subscribe button. Although it's a positivity button, although we like to say it supports, it helps out the channel, and we like to help you guys as well, just getting throughout the day and also having some fun with the Bulls news as well. So hit that subscribe button, like and share, and thank you guys so much for tuning into Bulls Digest. Bulls guard reportedly drawing trade interest from around the NBA. Of course, getting into Ayo Dosumnu as well. We talked about him being in trade talks as well. Chris Gallagher actually did an amazing video about Ayo getting traded as well. Also fire. But just to get into that and to touch on that as well, Ayo is, as we know, contract is coming up. He could look to re-sign. However, could get a whole lot more money if he goes out and tests his value out in the open market. And it looks like him and Kobe White could do just that and be well off moving on from Chicago in that matter. But even going into this, Ayo Dosumnu is in the final year of his current 3-year, $21 million contract. The Chicago Bulls guard will become an unrestricted free agent next summer. As such, the Bulls front office is expected to test Dosumnu's trade interest over the next few months. It makes more sense to try and trade him with some assets heading back to Chicago in return than to have him walk away for nothing in 12 months' time. And of course, just going into that as well, according to Brett Siegel of Clutch Sports, the Bulls should have no problem finding a willing trade partner for Dosumnu as well. And I think that helps out a whole lot. You don't want to let this man walk for just absolutely nothing. You want to get some value back in return, especially for somebody as young as Ayo Dosumnu, is a guy that is really, really electric. He's fun to watch. He hustles on the floor. The only problem that we had last season was just him going down with that season-ending injury. That just was just a little bit of a gut punch there. I can't say it's a huge gut punch. Not saying that the Chicago Bulls run at the tail end of the season was going to be 10 times better now that Ayo was just going to be fully healthy and off to the races. But a really, really fun guy, really, really entertaining to watch, and also entertaining to watch outside of the basketball court as well. You know, just him being on YouTube, him even boosting up Montes Buzelis, speaking highly of him and talking about just how amazing of a season that he is expected to have. Well, at least both of them now. Just how they talk, just about how they just going off on how they talk about each other and talk with each other. You know, they get you hyped. They get you hyped, and then, of course, you see the work that they put on the floor. You know that there's of power with what they're saying. You know they're going to back up what they say, of course. And you can tell that they're young and hungry. You know, that's pretty much the fun part about that as well. So, of course, this is coming from Brett Siegel. Ayo Dosumnu is a key name to keep an eye on, not just for the Golden State Warriors, who have been interested in him previously, but other teams around the league as well. Siegel reported that there has been plenty of interest in Dosumnu as he enters his final year of his contract as well. We've heard from Anthony Irvin. The Lakers were interested in Ayo Dosumnu, but we feel like we talked about that before. Lakers don't really have that much to draw in for Ayo Dosumnu. Maybe you could get a Dalton Connect, but even then, what value, are you getting back? If you give away if you're trading Ayo Dosumnu to the Los Angeles Lakers, don't think there's a whole lot that the Los Angeles Lakers that can give you compared to a team like the Golden State Warriors, who could compare that youth, could give you that youth back in a Jonathan Kuminga and so on and so forth, and the youth that they have on the team there as well. That you can get from the Golden State Warriors definitely is a whole lot better than what you're getting back from the Los Angeles Lakers. So, of course, at 25 years old, Dosumnu can slide into multiple types of rosters. He makes sense for rebuilding teams trying to add some depth towards a playoff push, or he could be a smart addition to a contending team's bench unit, providing scoring and playmaking in a limited role. And yeah, honestly, I think he fits all assets. I definitely believe Ayo Dosumnu is a guy that can work out with any team here in the NBA. because as at least in that bench role, he is going to be there. He can at least contribute on the offensive side. His shooting ability has improved as time and time goes on, and of course his athleticism has just picked up the pace. He's pretty much slamming it home, putting it down on guys as we're seeing it, and the vert is just absolutely unreal as we're seeing from Ayo Dosumnu. Just incredibly fun to watch. And so in saying that, him coming off the bench and playing that six-man role is absolutely incredible for a team that's already has their pretty much foundation set up and is just looking to build on to that playoff push. Or if you need a starter that's going to come in, or if you have a guy that's injured and you need somebody that's going to come in and fill that role, Ayo Dosumnu is going to be that guy for you because he can keep up with the starter's pace and he can keep up with your go-to guys as well. So I do believe Ayo Dosumnu is the man for any team, and I think he could gel with any team that you plug him in there as well. Last season, Dosumnu played in 46 games for Billy Donovan's team, started in 26 of them and coming off the bench for 20. He averaged 12.3 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists on close to 50% shooting from the field. Just absolutely unreal and reliable, just absolutely reliable too. And I love his handles. I love him trying to create his shot and find his own rhythm too. He doesn't need to go within the flow of the offense. If the team is struggling on the offensive side, he can pick up the pace himself. He can get the team going and he can get the ball rolling for the Chicago Bulls. And that's one thing that I really, really love to see. And not necessarily the defense is there. It's not, to the level of just it's just absolutely locked down. I'm not going to necessarily say that this is where we see him shine the most for Ayo Dosumnu, but it is so fun to see him pull the shorts up and just clamp down and lock up. When we see Ayo Dosumnu embrace, a challenge, when we see Ayo Dosumnu come off the bench, and we see him go up against the starters, and we've seen it in the Boston Celtics games. You've seen it in the Golden State Warriors games. Ayo Dosumnu is not only, as I mentioned before, fun to watch, but can pick up the pace for the Chicago Bulls. That's on the offensive side, as I mentioned, and on the defensive side as well. So just a whole lot of fun to watch on that man. Bulls still negotiating with Josh Giddey as well. Of course, as we mentioned before, Bulls, before the front office can make the final decision on how to proceed with Dosumnu, they must secure with Josh Giddey's long-term future. Both the players and the franchise appear to have reached a stalemate in the contract negotiations. Siegel noted that Giddey and the Bulls are expected to continue their negotiations in the near future as both sides want to find an amicable solution. And I think that's what's tough there in itself. If you can already see the Chicago Bulls and Josh Giddey coming to a stalemate, I'm pretty sure if a Kobe White is going to test his free agency, I can pretty much see this going the same way with the Chicago Bulls. Now, him resigning, don't think it's going to happen. Him and Ayo, I do think if they play lights out in the beginning of the season, Ayo is definitely going to be the one to get traded. It's just a matter of what for. And if a team has the money, has the salary caps to throw in, that you can put in a Nikola Vucevic in that trade as well, and then you just kill two birds with one stone there, and you're getting a whole lot of value there too on top of that. So I do think trading Ayo Dosumnu is a really good move. It does help out the Chicago Bulls a whole lot, especially with salary cap. Of course, you're saving some money there, but you get some value from Ayo Dosumnu. Of course, just looking at his stats here, 12.3 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, of course, 1.5 turnovers, 2.3 fouls per game, but shooting close to 50% from the field and 32% from three-point range. 6'5", 25 years old, you're getting still a whole lot of youth from Ayo Dosumnu. And even though you dealt with a couple of injuries from the man in his career who hasn't been injured, throughout their career, so Ayo coming back, I do think he will pick up where he left off, and we're still going to see some exciting basketball from the man. Of course, that's no doubt about it. So it's just a matter of where you're getting traded to and what team is going to give you the most value out of that as well. You already looked at the Lakers, who have already said that they've had some interest in Ayo. They're not really going to give you a whole lot, at least compared to what the Golden State Warriors have in tune for you. So it's just a matter of looking to see which team is going to give you, of course, the best value in that. and Ayo is just going to be perfectly fine no matter where he goes. But what do you think? Do you think the Chicago Bulls should just crack down and pay the man what he is deserved? Or do you think the best bet for the Chicago Bulls is to trade Ayo, see what you can get for the man, and also see what you can work out with this roster, and also see if you can go get a little bit of youth, or see if you can get some veteran help, see if you can get some more experience, coming into this roster. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.